Have you ever read a book that took you on a journey both literally and figuratively or internally? Well, this book, Strength to Love by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and more specifically the second sermon, because this is a book of a compilation of his sermons, took me on that journey recently. I have to say thank you to Unity of New York, which brought this book into my life. We have a discussion group on Sunday mornings before service at 9:30 in the morning. And I am one of the facilitators that helps to lead. We'll take a chapter or a sermon or a part of the book each week and discuss it before service. Even before I got to that chapter and I was reading the foreword and the preface, something that stood out for me was this section. I have been rather reluctant to have a volume of sermons printed. My misgivings have grown out of the fact that a sermon is not an essay to be read, but a discourse to be heard. It should be a convincing appeal to a listening congregation. Therefore, a sermon is directed toward the listening ear rather than the reading eye. While I have tried to rewrite these sermons for the eye, I am convinced that this venture could never be entirely successful. So even as this volume goes to press, I have not altogether overcome my misgivings. But in deference to my former congregation, my present congregation, my close associates in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and my many friends across the nation who have asked for copies of individual sermons, I offer these discourses in the hope that a message may come to life for readers of these printed words. And I think they do come to life in this book. It's a good thing he created it. But as I was reading it, I kept longing for hearing the speech, hearing it. And many of the speeches, many of the sermons are online. You can find them on YouTube or wherever. But this particular one, the Transformed Nonconformist, I couldn't find online, at least not easily. And I lucked out that the New York Public Library has a copy in the Schomburg Center, which is a specialty library in Harlem that focuses on African American history, culture, arts. And they have a copy of this speech in their rare recordings section. So I went in and I asked for it, and they have a nice little listening lab, and I sat down, put my headphones on, got my book out, and listened and read, and I was able to stop and rewind and take notes. And it was really powerful to hear how slow and deliberate and intentional his words were. And I definitely got chills just imagining myself in that space, in that time. So it was powerful to listen to the recording and to read along and to see what things were the same and what things were different, to see how he shared examples that maybe weren't available to him when he had written this in 1963 or 64 for the book, and even before that when he had originally done the sermon in 1954 for his congregation in Montgomery, Alabama. So there's a real journey and an evolution, and it's nice to have a beginning in the book. Strength to Love. I highly recommend you read this book and share it with people that you know. Question: let me know what other books may have taken you on a literal and figurative journey. Peace.